If some is good, more is better. I got Josh Gertz back from Critical Hit Exotics. If you saw our show a couple weeks ago, it was a fantastic show, but we didn't get through half of what we planned to. And I said, you know, we gotta cap this off. This was too good to put an end to right then. So I've got Josh back tonight for the AI portion of the show, sort of part 2 of Josh Gertz with Critical Hit Exotics. Let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? It's Proper Royals Live. My name's Adam. Thank you for being here tonight. Fresh off the plane from Toronto, I'm back. Huge thanks to everybody that was at the CRBE. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Proper Royals is brought to you ad-free by the fine people at Palm Street. You will find no ads on Proper Royals Live content anymore. If you're interested in learning more about Palm Street, you can check out palmstreet.app. And if you already know about Palm Street and you're interested in selling on Palm Street, there's a seller application right down in the description that you can check out. I advise that you should. I enjoy it. Like I said, huge thanks to the Canadian Reptile Breeders Expo that is put on by Grant Crossman and his team. It was fantastic. 338,000 square feet of animal vendors, industry setups, plants, fish, reptiles, of course, cats, dogs, birds. What else was there? You know what they didn't have was any just super crazy exotic, I didn't see any kangaroos or I don't think I saw any foxes. There were some cool dogs. I'm talking just primo dogs. Anyway, top notch, total class operation. Thank you so much to Grant and the crew. Special thanks to Chris Eaton from the Fat Man Nation. Quick story is that a few months back, Chris called me up and he said, hey, CRB is looking for a social media presence and we should do this live streaming thing. They're going to take care of us. I said, sounds good. Let's do it. I didn't realize we got there. There's a whole stage set. They had built a lounge for us, spotlights, right in the middle of the reptile exhibition. The exhibition hall. I think he said that the reptile exhibition hall was 128,000 square feet. For reference, it felt like it was fairly equivalent or maybe 3/4 the size of Tinley, just the reptile hall. Love it. So anyway, really great experience. Check out the Fat Man Nation on YouTube. You can see all the content there. It's packed with information. The only downside is that they're like 5 hours long each. So, just set aside a little time, an hour a day for the next week, and you can hear everything live. It was really, really great. I have to give very, very specific thanks, like I say, to Chris Eaton, but Kevin from Sugar Skull Serpents was there helping out, and all these guys were helping out, acting as producers, roadies, guest wranglers, and definitely the guys, just a lot of camaraderie this weekend. It was fun. So Kevin from Sugar Skull, Paul from Large Marge, Sammy from Sammy Bull Pythons, bright pink, hawking his shirts everywhere. It was awesome. And then our Canadian hosts were fantastic. Mark Mandick, thank you so much, from Marcus Jane. That's who Mark Mandick is. Mark hosted us at his house out in the countryside. It looked like countryside to me. Cooked for us, made us feel like kings. It was fantastic. So thank you very, very much, Toronto and Canada and the CRBE. We will be back, and I know that I left out a whole lot of people there that I could have thanked and should thank. I will get to everybody on various social media platforms. But I had a really, really great time. It's as billed. You should go if you get the chance. So thank you, CRBE. Oh, hang on. Check this out. Somebody just made a nice little welcome gift, little souvenir from CRBE. And that was made by Hidden Hogs, hidden like hogs that you can't see, Hidden Hogs. So go check out Hidden Hogs on Instagram, wherever you get your snake content. There you go. Now you can see it. That's pretty sweet, huh? I'm going to find a place in the, I don't know if I'm going to do it at the car wash or eventually I'm going to turn this into a little studio in here. Maybe I'll hang it in here. Pretty sweet diamond plate. I didn't know if they would let me through customs. I was like, I'm not sure I can explain what this is, but they didn't ask me. No issue. Very, very cool. So thank you, everybody, on that. I told everybody that Toronto kicks off a stretch for me that is just going to be cooking, man. I've got a lot going on. One of them is the upcoming Epic conference. I am a producer on that, and I don't know, probably have some other nifty title. I'm not sure what it is, but we've been working on it behind the scenes, and here we go. The website is live. There will be a few little tweaks to it, but it is up and running. Check this out. We can now announce and confirm that the keynote will be delivered, will be a conversation with Emily Roberts from Snake Discovery. I think Ed might make an appearance too. I'm not 100% sure on that, but certainly Emily. You could see our sponsors there. And then look at all of these presenters. Bob Bledsoe's there, Fear to Fascination. Had a great time traveling in CRB with Fear to Fascination. Conduit Constrictors, Chris Eaton's involved. He's back again. Another Canadian, Crystal and Gerald Crabtree, Brad Gerke, the Harbins are going to be on there. Tons and tons of names. Mark Mandick will be there. We have a youth section this time, which I thought was just all credit to Craig over at Bashcoder, bringing a youth session in. So we'll see Tyler King, Clayton Kaufman, a couple other Marina from Ghost Constrictors. Anyhow, Prague Morphs is there, Molinar Snake Lab, lots and lots of great people. Adam Wickens is confirmed. He will be there as well, Josh's Frogs. And we do have a couple more still to be announced. You can see the schedule right here, but it's all going to take place on September 27th. And you can watch it right at epic.live. And you don't have to sign up. You don't have to give emails, any of that kind of stuff. And you can see our media affiliates here. So I hope you'll make plans. You'll see a whole lot of ads and information about it coming up in the next, 11 days. It is on. So I hope to see you there. It's going to be packed content, and you will be able to watch all the content afterwards, either through epic.live or through the it's Epic-Conference is the YouTube channel. So it will be all available. Everything will be available. Hope to see you in the future on that. Let me figure out how to get this to go away. Go back to my normal screen. There we go. I've got clutches coming. It's good to get back home. I'm finally caught up. I'm exhausted, but really, really inspired from the CRB experience. I'll be sharing more and more of that stuff on Instagram. And the 27th is Epic. The 28th, I will be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota vending. I know you guys are like, not much going on there. Town of 300,000 people. Pretty good. How would I put it? Not demographics, because that's like the people. There's cool people everywhere. There's jerks everywhere. Financial metrics, like the average income, spare money, luxury money that they may have, looking pretty good. I don't know what those guys in Sioux Falls do, but I had a great show there. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. I'll be in Sioux Falls. I'll be in Minneapolis. I'll be in Fargo. I will be in Hastings, Minnesota. I will be in Tinley. I will be in Des Moines, Iowa. Where else? I might have forgot something in there. Maybe another Wisconsin stop. Anyway, all of those between now and November 9th. So see you out there somewhere. Tonight, I got Josh this is Josh Gertz from Critical Hit Exotics. We, for whatever reason, you just click with some people. Like, I really get along with Josh, and I always appreciate the show guests, but some of them are easier, as in I don't have to focus so much on running a show as it just feels like a conversation. And the ironic part is the less I focus on running a show, or the more I'm able to focus less on running the show, the better the shows end up being. And the last show was great. And I'll let Josh introduce himself in just a minute. But Josh works in the gaming industry. Game theory is a specialty of his, which really is the science or psychology of decision making, which we like people to make decisions to buy ball pythons or reptiles, or in any business, we like to sway their decision making. So we had a really, really great episode last time, and we were going to try and talk game theory and AI all in one episode, and we just didn't even touch, literally not even didn't get into AI whatsoever. So I wanted to have Gertz back, both to fulfill sort of the plan of what we were going to talk about, but also it's exciting. It was a great show, and I actually have had several people reach out to me since then, saying that they either learned something specific from that show, or were inspired by that show, or rewatched it. Really cool. So thanks for the support. You're always welcome to leave comments down below as well. And in the chat, speaking of, let me say hello to some people. There's Sammy. Kai, what's going on, man? I hope that life is good. I hope that you're well. Balls and Goins Reptiles, welcome. Lakeland, Florida, Polk County. That's what I'm talking about. I know a little bit about that area. Adrian, thanks for always being here. Thanks for the kind words in the comments that I always see. What's up, Chris? We missed you, man. We missed you. You gotta get on board next year. Gotta have come north. Sammy, what's going on, man? Thank you for being here, Sammy. Thanks for hanging out all weekend. If you ever get a chance to hang out with Sammy, go hang out with Sammy. You're going to have a good time. We'll just leave it there. The stories are fantastic. The camaraderie is fantastic. He enjoys football. It was a nice hangout. My Vikings lost, but that's okay. I can't blame Sammy for that one. Here we go. Let's get down to business. Please welcome back for the second time recently, maybe second time ever, but anyway, second time recently, Josh Gertz from Critical Hit Exotics. Josh, how you doing,
Hello.
man? Welcome.
How's everybody doing?
I am good. I hope that you're packed with content, because my voice is just about shot from talking for 16 hours straight over 2 days, and then going out having dinner. I don't know if you know, at a table of 5 or 6 New Yorkers, you just have to yell. That's all. You just yell all night long, and then so the voice is a little tough, and then you put a whole bunch of red wine on top of that. You know, that's what happens, but I'm good. Thanks for coming back, man. That was a really, really fun show. One thing that I just thought of, the people that did enjoy it, and if you didn't get a chance to catch the first show, Gertz has his own show as well. Tell some people about the podcast that you guys have.
Trevor from Ball Labs and myself started a podcast in February, and every Monday at 8:30 Mountain. So it's a little later for East Coast people, but you can always catch the replay. And we just pick a random topic and talk about it.
But it's breeder. It's all ball python breeder or reptile breeder related.
Yeah, we've talked about branching out a little bit, because Trevor also has carpets. Mm-hmm. And I've been kind of getting into micro geckos.
Okay.
So we've talked about branching out. We've talked about having guests and stuff like that. I think when the well runs dry and we're having a hard time figuring out what to talk about, we'll probably reach there.
If there's anything that I've learned, is this industry or this community will give you something to talk about. You may not want to talk about those things, but there will be something. But you guys do. It's a little different format, because it's 2 co-hosts. I don't know. Do you ever have guests or no guests at all?
We have not had a guest on.
Yeah.
There are some times where I have to travel for work. Like next week, I'm actually going to be in California, but I'm still going to do the show from my hotel. Mm-hmm. But there have been times where I've traveled and I can't be around for the show. And Trevor has talked about getting guests. It's only happened once though. Yep. And it happened last second, where it was like, I just can't make it because I'm dealing with a severe issue right now. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't really give him time to find a guest. But he's had a few people show some interest about coming on and talking about carpets. And so we're trying to time it to where I know I'm not going to be around that way, because I don't have carpets and I don't know anything about carpets. So letting him do the show with the guest, and if I have an engagement that I have to go to, then so be it.
Right. Just get out of the way. And
yep.
There's it's a whole different show, but there's an art to knowing when you're bringing value and when not. And if it, yeah, I think about that a lot in music. Like, if I shouldn't be playing, if I'm not adding anything to the song, there's absolutely nothing wrong with stepping aside or faking it. Turn the volume down and keep the show going, but don't,
play that fruit note.
Yeah, exactly. Just the one. Yeah, exactly. So there's value to that. And I can personally, I've worked with both of you guys now and had a chance to know you and Trevor, both awesome guys. I would, if either of y'all are ever in a bind, I don't know much other than, kind of my little lane, but if you're ever in a bind, I'd be honored to jump in. Like, say,
oh man, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys have both looked out for me in various ways, very, very nicely. So I'd be, if I can ever help, no expectation. That's not for my ego. If I can ever be of help, let me know.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's get into this. I was joking. So my wife works at a local college, and she works in an institute that focuses on civil dialogue and discourse. And they do a theme each semester. And so it could be, lately the well is run deep with topics like democracy or elections. And I think the first year when we were here, it was food. What are the health effects of food? What are perspectives on food? Who gets food? How do we make food? How do we dispose of food? How do we waste food? All of those sorts of thoughts. But they are talking about doing next season's, I can't remember if it's a semester or a whole year, but on AI. And I tell all of that because I said, what is AI? What is it? And she was like, well, it's AI. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's all around us. We all know it, but what is it? Talk to me, Gertz.
Well, I mean, like something artificially making decisions on its own has been around for a long time.
Correct.
So like my analog I'm always going to go to is the game industry, because that's where I spent my career.
Exactly.
We've had decision trees for video games forever, where you're playing a single player game and there's an NPC walking around that you can interact with and they do things. And just over time, it's gotten to a point where it's like, it almost feels like a real person controlling that.
Okay. Hang on. What's an NPC?
Non-player character.
Okay. And a decision tree might be, if I'm Mario, do I go down the tube or do I go straight?
Yeah. So it's all the logic in the code, in the programming language that is dictating what this thing is doing. So early on, you may have only been able to create a decision tree that was 2 layers deep. So it's like, okay, I know this character is only going to do one of 2, 3 things, because I know, like, PlayStation 2 days, that's all we could afford. But now because media is cheap, processing is cheap, graphics processing is cheap, you can have decision trees that are 50 levels deep, and it almost feels like this character has a mind of its own, even though it does have the logic behind it. AI, like in terms of what I consider AI and what a majority of what I use is ChatGPT. And it does logic, it does coding, it does graphic design, it'll write stuff for you, data analyst, it can do a lot. But it does it on its own, and it's getting to a point where they have all this logic up in the cloud. So you're not using your computer's processing for it, which would be limited by however expensive your computer is.
Correct.
So you're able to do processing that's far more complex than what you could do previously. But it's also making it so the advancements in artificial intelligence are happening a lot faster than they were previously. So like how fast like ChatGPT is moving, like when OpenAI first came out, it was very limited. You could only ask it simple questions. You didn't have a lot of things that you could toggle. Like now you can go into a custom GPT and turn off web browsing. You can turn on certain logic. You can change the model. So this one is actually better at coding than this other one that's better at graphic design.
Okay.
So you can change all of these things now, and it's $20 a month. It's super convenient to use.
And that's a pretty high power. I use that $20. I mean, the free one's pretty high powered, but the $20 a month one is pretty whiz bang, in my opinion. Is that, I mean, if you're using it and you're here as at least someone with some insight, if not an expert on it, that must be a pretty good product.
I was pretty surprised. So taking a step back, I also work in an industry that is very anti-AI.
Interesting. The gaming community is?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's an industry of artists and writers.
Sure.
And designers.
Yeah. Okay.
And artists are very much like, hey, hire an artist to do this.
Yep.
And I have two thoughts on this. Is one, as a like my professional job where we have a budget where I can afford to hire an artist, I'm going to hire an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I want the artist to do it. My logo, I hired an artist for.
Yes.
However, I don't have the budget because I'm running in the negative every year. Like I'm not making a profit yet. But you know, I can't afford to hire a graphic designer every time I want to update a logo for something or update something, you know. It's kind of like, well, I just need this really quick and I need it on the fly. The other issue with hiring someone is you go through an onboarding process, talk about a contract, stuff like that. I can throw this in.
Right.
Same thing with writing, same thing with design. Creative Genetics brought up AI music, same thing. I don't know if you watch Rick Beato. I consume a lot of his content, but he recently did an episode on AI music.
I have an interesting relationship with I always mispronounce his name, but I think you said Beato. His thumbnails are so annoyingly clicky that I like refuse to click them anymore, and they've gotten more so. However, he gets a bazillion views. So I've thought to myself, what if I just steal the words from his thumbnails and then shoehorn in ball python content? I could get a whole bunch of views. So like he has one like recently that's like, this has to stop. I was like, man, I could load up this has to stop content from ball.
Yeah. He's got a whole team.
I know, it's great. Know, yeah. So
what does he have, like 5 million subscribers on YouTube? Like
unbelievable. And he's just a guitar rock and roll nerd.
But
yeah.
He did a episode on AI music. And my second thing with AI is because of the nature of how AI works, everything's gonna be somewhat homogenous.
Right.
As a result. So like when you listen to the AI music, it's following a theory for putting that thing together. The same with the artwork, right? It's following a theory.
There's a reason it all looks a little
and
similar.
All of a sudden it all just kind of looks the same.
Right.
It's almost like it's creating music. It's elevator music. It's great for the background, but it's not like the first time you heard Black Sabbath.
Right.
And you're just like, what is this?
Well, I mean, in that light, it's almost like the antithesis of creative. So if somebody wants creative inspired product, music, art, whatever, that's not going to be the place. And I know I'm oversimplifying it because people will take cheap stuff for a lower price. I get it. internet commercials for music. They're going to take the cheapest homogenized sound that they can find. But that also gives me hope that that's where the beauty survives. That's where the creativity and the inspiration survives.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good at creating things, but it's not good at creating new things.
Right.
The other thing that you can do with like ChatGPT as an example is I can turn off web browsing in its logic, give it my reference art that I maybe have paid for, and say, use this as your base and create these things. And at that point, if I'm using the artwork that I created or I paid somebody to create, and that's the only reference it's using to seed what it's doing.
Interesting.
Where's the, so lines can kind of get blurry a little bit.
Yeah. That, and I'm not trying to be dismissive. I get a little fatalistic about things. Like I really like my coping mechanism in life, which drives people mad. I know sometimes is if I can't control it, I'm not going to get mad about it. And I'm probably going to have to figure out how to live with it. And so I may as well go ahead and get over that hump and figure it out. Yeah. Whereas people that are passionate, that are, and it's ironic because I am not making much money at it, but I am a professional musician and I have been for, close to 30 years now. So I could understand where people would be like, man, you're really dropping the ball on this. The story and history of advancements is always people are going to lose their jobs or people are going to die or the world is going to end. And it hasn't ended yet. If that speaks to anybody in the audience, you can Google, and Gertz, you're going to help me pronounce this. I think you'll know what I'm talking about. Either Luddites or Luddites that would destroy technology out of the fears that we're talking about. Yeah. And eventually, employment or unemployment remains largely unchanged. People find work, people adapt, we do different things, society goes on. And yes, there are many arguments that the world has gone to hell. However, we're still here and living and haven't had to go to Mars or then become extinct, unless I guess there's an argument that this is all just a dream. But other than that argument,
the argument of taking jobs away, I get. I haven't seen it happen yet. Well, man. So in the game industry, there definitely have probably been executives that have laid off boots on the ground workers because they thought AI could do their job better.
And
no, I think it's always failed. Like I just to throw it out, I think the most recent one was Microsoft bought Blizzard, the company that makes World of Warcraft, Diablo. They took over. There's an obvious redundancy in marketing staff. They don't need 2 marketing staffs for Microsoft and Blizzard. However, they do the layoff. They do an announcement for a new expansion that they're expecting everybody to pay $50 for, and hired a company that obviously used AI to create a bunch of shorts and YouTube videos, but they didn't know the game. Okay. So all the information in these shorts was not accurate. So, and people had a field day with it because there's really passionate people about the world of Warcraft.
Well, yeah. If you're going to make me, if you need an audience that is capable and appreciates memes of fails within their community, that's probably going to be pretty rich, right?
Yeah. And they had to come out and fix it and make a statement, and and like that didn't work. People that I've worked with, so like, well, can't you just do this with AI? And it's like, well, yeah, but it's not going to look great. You still need somebody that knows how it all works to run everything. And a lot of times, yeah, Craig, that was the other one I was going to mention, is the new version of Dungeons and Dragons had obvious uses of AI art in it when they've come out and said they don't use AI art. And it was a contractor that said they didn't use it, to be fair to them. But that's happened to us because I work for a competitor to Wizards of the Coast. And we saw it right away and ended up, we paid the guy, but didn't use his art. And we will not use that person again. So yeah, it happens. There's a lot of other uses for AI too. Like there's now 3D modeling tools that you can just plug in, give me a 3D model of this character, and it spits out a 3D model character ready to rig and animate. There's AI tools for animation now. Like you can have a whole game pipeline now that's automated. Is it going to make something good? Probably not. But I mean, it gets better all the time. So I don't know.
Well, I heard a quote one time that I liked. It was easy and convenient, made things easy and convenient for me. So I liked the quote. So it might not be fair. What I'm saying is I'm biased. This was a marketing video. And the guy said, marketing people are afraid that AI is going to take their jobs. And he said, the only people that will lose their jobs are the marketers that don't learn how to incorporate AI into what they're doing.
Yep.
And he followed that up with AI can do the easy stuff for you. The hard stuff that you're an expert at, you're still going to need to do. So let it do the easy stuff for you. And then you got to make, he uses the expression, you got to make it your own voice. So I'll give an example. All the descriptions for my videos start as an AI generated description. However, I go back and I say, this doesn't sound like me. And so I'll retype, I don't know, some percentage of it. Sometimes it nails it. Sometimes it takes quite a few more. But then I feed it back to it. I always tell it, hey, here's what I ended with. Keep trying and keep working at it. And I found that it starts to, I don't know if it Googles me or what, it starts to overlap. Like the description actually for tonight said something like, get a cold beverage and chill or something. I was like, no, I enjoy a cold beverage, but I'm not going to put that in the description. And I don't think I've ever said, grab a cold beverage and chill, like, especially related to proper royals. So like, I think you could start with the core, and I think you have to make it your own, is kind of my opinion. What do you think of that?
I said it in the last episode, but one of the mantras that I've used for the last 20, 25 years is trust but verify.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling it to do a job, it spits something out, but I need to verify it.
Yeah. Yep.
At a higher level, the other thing that I talk, like when I talk to people about AI, is you can't think that AI is just going to do everything for you. Like it's not a silver bullet. Like you have to treat it like an employee, and you have to give it a job description. You have to give it the tools it needs to be successful. You have to tell it what its job is. You have to mentor it. Like I actually spend a lot of time updating the instructions in the custom GPT I made, because I'll find something or somebody will message me and say, hey, I'm using the free one that I have up. And I found this issue, and it's like, oh, I'm not handling auctions correctly. Oh, I'm not handling somebody posting an auction with mixed, like selling a collection or a group of animals. And so I go in and I have to fix it. Just things I didn't catch. And like, I could just throw it up there and leave it, but what does that do for anybody? And I've had to do that with, I have a bunch of them for like graphic design, social media manager, SEO. And it's like, I'm learning little bits about these jobs. And as I become better at those jobs, the custom GPT I made becomes better at it because I'm training it. So I treat the custom GPT as I would if I had a producer working under me, or a project manager working under me, where it's like, I don't say, give me a daily report. I say, okay, I need a report daily that has this data in it. I want to visualize this as a pie chart. This is a trend line. This is a, I want to see our bug fix velocity over time for the last month. I want to know if we're actually going down or up, so I know if we're going to be able to release on time. Like, these are all things that, same way I would treat a new employee, that's how I treat the chat GPT.
I think it's a fantastic point. There's been a few people that I've shared similar things like what you're talking about. So one of the things I do in consulting is write standard operating procedures. I have a standard interview that I give. I take the transcript. I use the GPT that I have coached, but it's a year and a half old of feedback, and some of it is going like you say, it's like coaching it. It's like a HR conversation of this expectation was met, this expectation failed. Here's what success would look like here. Let's try this again, kind of deal. And I hear people go, "Well, it's just spitting out garbage," and I'm like, "Well, it's almost like anything. Like the first go round isn't going to be great. It's not going to solve all your problems, but if you work at it and figure it out, it can be massively helpful." Okay. I want to pivot into the specific area that you're talking about of things that you've created specifically for the ball pythons, as we are in proper royals on Tuesday night. However, really quickly, what the heck does GPT mean? What is GPT?
You know, I don't
Nobody really knows
what GPT stands for.
Okay, but could you describe it? Is it a bot? Is it the persona? Is it the thing that we are creating and working with that has its own lane?
Well, so I know it's a language model.
Okay.
It's a large language model. It handles data. So it stands for generative pre-trained transformer.
Okay.
It's just a type of model. Yeah. Okay. Stephen already had it in there.
Nailed it.
Stephen's probably smarter than me.
It's a few of us, but no, that are not as smart as Stephen. I mean, no, I'm joking. That all went sideways. I was like, no, not Gertz, not Steve. Wait, me. Everybody's catching strays. I had a conversation with the guy, and I promised I want to get to the ball python stuff. I had a conversation with the guy. The specific word generative, does that mean that it is making assumptions and generating things on its own, which would be different than like a classic search engine that goes, here's exactly what I've found. You kind of make your own conclusions.
I don't think it is smart enough yet to make assumptions. Because I definitely see, like, when I'm parsing data, I definitely see issues that I have to train it on.
I'm not saying make right assumptions. I'm saying,
oh yeah.
If it scans 40,000 teenage,
I think it's more like analyzing sentiment in like social media.
Yeah, and then it's trying to stick a word that it fits the sentiment. Yeah, and that's what I mean by assuming. I don't mean it assumes correctly. I just think it's like, all right, let me generate. Yeah. 99 every time this word appears, 90% the next word is this. Let me throw the next word in, kind of deal. Is that like something it would do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
when you're asking it to write a long form video script or something like that. It's going to analyze trends and go like, okay, this is what the trends I'm seeing. So this is what we're doing.
What's funny, and it just struck me how ironic it is. I do so much of my work by feeding transcripts to the chat GPT bots that I use. And the irony is it's learning from those transcripts of what words should come next. And in theory, it would sway by what it gets fed most of, but it can move at such massive speeds that it doesn't matter. I'm not swaying anything, but it was an interesting side thing. Okay, we've laid the groundwork, and I'm sure we could talk all night just sort of on a macro level of AI. What are strategies that you use? How do you use AI as a tool in our little micro world of, let's just say, ball python breeding, but how could it be applied in other things? And what are some of these very specific, I would call them tools, but maybe they're products, maybe they're experiments, maybe they're exercises that you are doing with AI and ball pythons?
Is this where we call it a practice like doctors do so they can't get sued? So I've been practicing AI a lot.
Don't sue Gertz, guys. Like, there's way like worse people in the world to go sue. Like, don't sue Josh.
So what I've been using it for, like, I rarely use it for any graphic design stuff. I rarely use it to write anything. I definitely use it to help me generate ideas.
Right. Yeah.
And then I kind of riff, and then, I mean, theoretically, I have Grammarly installed, so that is technically rewriting things for me, which is a kind of AI.
Yeah.
um, so what I mainly use it for is to analyze data that I'm scraping from MorphMarket. And I'm using it strictly for, hey, I just want to see what's going on with the market.
And I'm sorry, just to interrupt really quick. None of this is like hacking. You're not breaking into anything. You're not going in it. This is all put out there for anybody that wants it. You're finding ways to analyze it, and that you're working on.
So this is interesting, because this is part of the learning process, right? When I started getting into using ChatGPT, and honestly, like it came from the patron where you started talking about it, and I was already kind of using it, and I was like, oh, there's other people actually doing this and playing with this.
Yeah. I'm like, well, how do I
So like, I'm like, I would really like to know, like, and not that I want it to make decisions for me, but I would like to know and verify if some of the pairing decisions that I'm making are good. Are they going to be profitable in the future? Because I'm playing longer games with like double and triple recessive stuff.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't know, like, you get that little anxiety about, like, is this going to help me long term? Because I at least want to get to a point where I'm paying for the food and the care for the
you can at least get to zero, right? Yeah, let's at least get to zero, right?
Yeah.
But now you wouldn't ask it, is this profitable in the long run? You would ask it to gather data where you can make a conclusion based on your own metrics. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so the process for that started with like, hey, I am mainly in the Dreamsicle project, and I do a lot of stuff with GHI.
Okay.
So first thing, I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, can you tell me the average price for a Dreamsicle on MorphMarket? And it spits out a number, and I'm looking at this number going like, there's no way that number is like 4 or 5 years old.
Okay, so it was many thousands versus several hundreds. Okay,
and so I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, how did you come to that conclusion? And it showed me all the logic it went through, and I'm all, give me the link to all the information that you're gathering. So it gave me a bunch of links, and it's linking me to a bunch of sold pages from like 2020, 2019, that it basically did a Google search.
Yeah. And then it made that generative assumptive leap. Is that correct? Yes. Okay.
It didn't care that it was sold. It didn't care it's just like, hey, this is the Google search. This is the first 40 that I grabbed. This is the average cost of one. I'm like, okay, we're going to have to do some work here. So I'm like, hey, you're giving me sold animals from years ago. Can you give me more recent postings? And it's all sure. And then it gives me a number that's a little bit better, but it's still way off, and it's still giving me sold animals. And I'm like, I just flat out asked ChatGPT, can you actually navigate MorphMarket? And it says no.
Right there. And that's what I was saying about the assumptions. There have been times where I'm like, exactly what you're talking about. Like I'll try and be doing show prep on somebody. I'm like, can you give me the actual YouTube video that you're referring to? And it goes, no. And basically it said, I looked at titles and figured I would just tell you from that, go ahead.
Yep. And so then I'm like, okay, well, what's happening? Why can't you, if I give you this filter, which was a filter for just Dreamsicle males and females, can you go through each page and then give me an average? And what I found was Cloudflare, which is the anti-bot software for Amazon, was blocking it. And it told me I'm getting a Cloudflare, are you a human message, where you have to click the little checkbox and hit okay. And it's ChatGPT. It can't click it and click okay. So it's just getting blocked. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, if I could get you data, could you then analyze the data for me? And it's like, yes. So then I went to uh, uh, a Python coding GPT that someone made,
which is not anything to do with ball pythons,
which
which
is
is
nothing to do with ball
right.
pythons. And I asked it to help me build a scraper, which is something that can gather data from a web page.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you load up MorphMarket, it has to load data to show you the right pictures, the right dollar amount, the sex, the seller, everything. So I was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna learn some stuff in the process. So I had it go through it, wrote a piece of code, ran Python on my computer. It could grab the first page. But then I found that it's loading the browser, scraping the one page, and then it can't move forward. It as soon as it tries to move to the next page, it gets the Cloudflare prompt again. I'm like, okay, this is what it was. This is what was happening to ChatGPT. So this is long-winded. Anyway, I had to get to a point where it can't navigate by just going find next in code and just tell it to move to the next page. It actually has to control my computer, scroll the mouse wheel down, move my mouse cursor to hit next, scrape the next page, scroll down, hit next. So it's simulating a person being at the computer, going page by page to get all the data.
Couple questions. Now that processing is happening on your computer locally. That's not the cloud processing, right?
That is not the cloud. And that is how I circumvented the Cloudflare error.
Okay.
It's because I had to simulate someone actually being at the computer controlling things.
Now, I don't know if guys like you have caught up to this, or maybe this was just something that was is the first time I've ever been able to bring this up, because it matches the content of what we're the context of what we're talking about. I had heard some early attempts at what you're talking about, and that there would be slight movement and slight repositioning of things on the screen, so that by the time you had it trained, every X amount of time frame, whether it be weeks or days or months, I have no idea, or seconds, I have no idea, but that next button that you push is in a slightly different location, just enough of a pain that you have to recreate your scraper. Is that an experience you had or not?
I have not run into that. The only thing that I've run into is if I have a hiccup in my internet connection, it'll time out. But over time, I've updated the actual Python script to add timeouts, retries. I have different timings. So like if I have a bad connection for the day, I can change the timings. That way it'll still work. And it's just like, I've been doing it over, and I've kind of prepared for the, like, okay, if they do a user interface update, I'm probably going to have to update the script for it.
I see. Yeah. User interface is that's the word I was looking for earlier on the display. The part that you see is okay.
The last thing it does is it caches everything it's scraping into a temp file, and then at the very end, when it's done, it hits the last page, it dumps it into a spreadsheet for me, which is what I then drop into ChatGPT.
And okay, the Python, not the ball Python, the Python, the coding
Python scripting language,
the Python coding language, scripting language, it delivers you a product, and then you are the mailman to ChatGPT. It's not automating that.
But this is what I'm talking about, where you have to give ChatGPT the tools it needs to do its job.
Right. And the more information you give it, the more accurate its conclusions will be. So, and audience, stick with us. I promise there's a payoff here, because it's a really cool machine, and I've played with it, and it's available, and it's free, right? Yeah. This isn't like a sales pitch. This is just a cool, go do it and check it out kind of thing. Now I didn't realize that. So for it to be, quote, updated or up to date, you have to go run this process that you have just described. How long? This sounds like a massive process. Is it massive, or is it something that your computer handles so quickly that it doesn't?
It takes about an hour.
And how many pages of data? I mean, is this going through all 30,000 or however many ball pythons are on MorphMarket?
So the filter, I can change the filter too. So like if somebody said, hey, like, do you think you could do this for Brazil? Like, let's say MorphMarket had a Brazil option in there. I could make a filter for Brazil, plug it in, and I could run for just Brazil. Like I can do it just for Canada. Right now I'm just doing US. But it's about 30,000 ads and about 1,290 something pages usually in the morning that it goes through. Takes about
screen
4.5 seconds a page to do.
Okay. All right. And then, and maybe this is a good place for a break, but you tell me. My next question is going to be, then you plug it into GPT and what does it do for you? But let's actually, that sounds like a good hook. That's going to keep people engaged right there. Yeah. Let's get paid. Audience, stick around for just a moment. Thanks everybody for being here. As I mentioned earlier, coming to you ad-free by the kind people at Palm Street. It's a live selling platform. It's interactive. It's on your phone. And if that speaks to you, you should check out Palm Street. First, you should check it out just to check it out. But second, if you want to try selling there, you can apply to sell there. And you can also check out my YouTube channel where I talk about selling on Palm Street, tips, tricks, hints. That library will continue to grow. So I hope you check it out. I've been shipping a lot lately. The market seems like this whole summer thing ending and the market picking up a little bit. It's going pretty well. I've been using REDLINE shipping. Of course, I'll go back to FedEx in the morning. I have something to send out tomorrow. I choose REDLINE for their knowledge, for their industry insight, and for their supplies. And the most important thing to me is there's a phone number I can just call. And this is not me calling Robin. Trust me, I don't call Robin about shipping problems. I call the team. AJ and the crew there are phenomenal. So check out REDLINE shipping. If you haven't been in a while, maybe go check them out. Again, the interface, the user interface is fantastic. And you can get $5 off your next shipping label, promo code PROPER5. Give it a shot. Charlie at shedtesting.com recently really, in my opinion, changed the game. They say you can hope to do 2 out of the 3, better, faster, cheaper. And I think he's done all 3 in his latest iteration of shed testing. When I say better, less human interacting, less variables applied to your shed tests. So that, to me, that makes it better, faster. You're going to get all your results in 5 business days or less, and cheaper. As one example, you could do a 10 gene panel for $85, have the results in 5 business days, and feel exceptionally confident in the results because of how little human interaction there is. There you go. It's a pretty good pitch, huh? Lace, Monarch, Hurricane, and Monsoon are currently active, as well as about 40 other genes that you can test for. There's panels that you can put together custom. You can choose your genes that you want on the panel test. You could do a full recessive panel test, and you actually can do a test for everything panel test as well. Various price points on those. Use a promo code PROPER10. You're going to get yourself 10% off of 2 orders of shed tests. You can order as much as you want in each order, but you get it twice. And if you're like, well, it was 15% not long ago. Yeah, those tests were $40 each not long ago either. So you're still getting a great value with the new pricing and 10% off. Go take care of Charlie. Go check him out and let him take care of you as well. Speaking of Charlie's, is Reagan Renee Royal Pythons. I'm still catching up from Toronto. That's Charlie Ryan, specializing in Kryptons, DG, G-Stripe, Candy, Pieds, Clowns, single, double, and triple ingredients in those projects. Charlie is the current reigning undefeated 15 minutes of lame champion as well, from my good friend Chris Eaton at the Fat Man Nation. Check out Charlie Ryan. Just spoke to him this afternoon. He's doing great stuff. He's got cool things coming down the pipeline, and I'll have updates as well to share with you about Reagan Renee Royal Pythons very shortly. Portuguese Pythons is Danny and Renee Rocha out in Chino, California. I came back from Toronto and the clown pied, not the clown pied, ultra clown clutches had started laying. So I got a lot of Ultramel ingredients from them. I thought about them today. So I'm excited about that. Their Ultramel stuff is fantastic. They're working Ultramel in puzzle, Ultramel in clown, and Ultramel in pied. And I'm sure over time, those will all overlap and interconnect. They're also working projects like Sunset Hypo, and then great dark, incomplete dominant genes, blackhead, heterodisanthic, GHI. You can go check out their animals on MorphMarket and follow Portuguese pythons on Instagram as well. Danny and Renee, I hope that you're doing well. Some of my favorite people to do business with. I haven't met them. I got to figure out how to get out to California and meet them in person. Sundog Serpents is Sarah and Josh, people I do know personally, and I have met them and worked with them. I used to vend, Sarah used to come and vend with me in Orlando and Tampa markets, I think it was, on the Repticon days for me back in Florida. They're great people. I've bought snakes from them. I've sold snakes to them. I consider them peers and good friends as well. So check out Sundog Serpents. TSK is Xanthic with Sundog. Asphalt projects with Sundog, super asphalt, of course. The TSK, they're working into clown as well. So if you're looking for ingredients there, they also have some blood pythons, and they recently hatched some puzzle hatchlings as well that are available. Last but not least is Chris at B&S Reptilia. Chris and I will be vending at Tinley in October together. All the way back, all the way left. The easiest table to find in Tinley. You just got to go all the way to the back for it. All the way back, all the way left. Come hang out with Chris and I. Chris is Reptilia because not only ball pythons, but blood pythons, locality boas, colubrids of all shapes and sizes, Pituophis, the pine snakes and bull snakes. He will have those there at Tinley, and he'll have the correct paperwork to make sure you have the legal ability to own those, but also the education to care for those animals. Hope to see you there. Tinley's just around the corner. All of these advertisers you can find down below, as well as a link to the Dr. Tom Harbin Scholarship Fund. Should you find yourself able to donate, I can tell you that no amount's too small, and that goes into an independently managed endowed scholarship fund at the University of Auburn. Did you say Auburn University, University of Auburn? I don't care. I got my UF flag back there, but it's a really good cause. Okay. So go take care of them. I care very much about it, just not how you pronounce Auburn, but it's a good university. So take care of them. Audience, thanks for hanging out. I have Gertz from Critical Hit Exotics. We've been talking about AI. We've been talking about a very specific in-depth example of how we can put AI to work for us. And here comes the payoff. If you haven't been with us up to this point, Gertz has put together something that can scrape data from MorphMarket, turn it into a palatable set of information to feed to ChatGPT. And now we find out, what do we do with all of this hard work and the information that we've gathered? So, Josh, tell us about that. And what are some ways that you're putting this knowledge and data together?
Yeah. So right now, I have a free ChatGPT up. You can just hit me up on Instagram. I'll give you a link. What I'm using it for, and this is what I think most people are just like, hey, I just want to ask questions about the ball python market on MorphMarket. So I'm looking for price distribution. So like how many animals are in specific price buckets over time. So usually it's like 0 to 150, 151 to 250, et cetera, up to like, I just kind of capped it at 2,500 and up.
Yeah.
Is a different bucket. Most of the stuff I'm making is the sub 500 stuff. And, I'm just looking for over time how things are changing.
Let me ask this as well.
Yeah.
Are you looking at, we all know there's currently for sale, which by definition has not sold. There's sold, and then there's auctions, and there's sort of a gray, misty area in between those. And depending if you're the buyer or the seller, one could make the argument, if it's listed for X price, yet has not sold at that price, there's a strong argument it is not worth that price. So all of those sorts of thoughts, what do you make of that?
One of my early learnings, and I can thank Trevor for this because he's the one that found it, because he was searching for stuff and trying to find deals. He's like, hey, I found this animal, but it seems to have dropped to like $300 and then up. And then I'm looking and I find the ad that I'm scraping and I'm like, oh, I'll bet you, because it's 3 days in a row that the price dropped on this, I bet he ran an auction. And the auction ended and it spiked back up. And so like he was trying to grab it for the cheap price. I'm like, you can still reach out to the guy and ask him. But I'm like, okay, so I'm not handling auctions correctly in the instructions of the GPT. So I had to go back in and tell it specifically, like, hey, if I'm asking for like trend lines and stuff like that, don't include auctions, because it's not going to give us accurate results for anything. It's just going to dirty the data.
Yeah.
So only include auctions if the user asks you to include auctions. So it is a prompt that occasionally ChatGPT in my custom GPT, it will ask you after you ask it a question. Sometimes it'll ask you, do you want me to include auctions or not?
Okay. And what kind of data can be scraped from the auctions? Because they don't show the sold price, do they? Or is there a place
Not
that you
for
found
auctions? So
right.
with auctions, I can just tell if it's an auction or not, because it has that bid icon.
Correct.
So when it scrapes the data, all I have is a flag that it checks. So if it's an auction, it just checks a box for me. And so any line that has that box checked, it just skips when it's gathering data, or not gathering, but when it's parsing data for me. It still gathers it. So I can run reports on just auctions if I wanted to. And it grabs the current price of it. It just doesn't know, once it ends, it doesn't know how much it sold for. And nobody does.
No, nobody does. And even the page, I don't want to deep dive on that. So, okay. There's too many variables. I was going to say, well, you could see the last one before it sells, but there could be 19 bids in literally 1 second.
Ultimately, like, not get a little off topic, but ultimately that's probably a good thing, because you don't want people going back and looking and saying like, oh, they're selling for $150, not 300, right?
I think that's why they don't show the sold price. I mean, it would terribly skew the market, I think. And because we all know, you go to MorphMarket, you see what something sold for, you say, oh, you haggle a little bit, but it's somewhere around that price, and it's based on that.
I mean, Trevor's really good at getting in on auctions. Like over the last couple of weeks, he's hit up, and I think he got a 1.1 of het paint animals for like $200. And he just a couple days ago, he ended up winning a het sunset male and an Enchi het sunset female for $240.
And
it's like, okay, you need to hit me up when you find stuff like that, Trevor. I don't want to bid against you, but like, I need some animals.
You're like, but I'll spend $250. I don't even, honestly, I don't even look at them, because I'll spend money, and it's and that's the excitement of the auction. I mean, that's the whole fuel of them is if enough eyeballs see it, you're going to get that fuel cranking in people.
So one of the other big things that I do is I am in certain projects. So I ask it, hey, show me a trend line for all het or visual lavender, het or visual pied dreamsicle projects. So I ask it, give me a trend line of the average price of those animals for all the data sets that you have. So for every Excel file it has, it'll build a trend line for that gene combo for me. And I can tell it only include those genes, or I can tell it, I don't care if it's a 5 gene combo. I just want to see an average for everything for dreamsicle.
Okay.
And it will prompt too. So one of the things that I did with the free GPT is, if you go to it, there's only one conversation starter available that just says help me start. And if you click that, it actually prompts you with a bunch of questions like, are you trying to find a trend for a gene? Are you trying to just see market trend? I'm trying to make it as easy for somebody that doesn't know what they're doing to go in there and say, like, this is just what I'm looking for. Give me all the information on clown.
Right. And
so that's one of the things I have in there. And then you can riff off of it. And I also have it prompting you for follow-up questions. Like, do you want to see this with this gene combo now? Or do you want to see if there's any deals on animals that will fit with your projects? If you give me a list of your animals, I can help you find a deal.
Is this something that, say somebody watching the show goes, man, this thing sounds cool. You said that there's a link that people can get from you. Do they need to have the $20 a month version to run this, or can they run it on the free version?
It's free, but it is still going to be limited by your account on how much bandwidth you can use. Bandwidth isn't a good term.
I know. Yeah.
But if you've ever used a free Chat GPT account, you ask a number of questions and eventually you're going to hit a point where it's all, you've used all you can use for the day. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you will still be limited by that. But the custom GPT, a free user can use.
Okay. And and I don't know if this is just totally off the cuff, so I apologize for not prepping you on this question here. Is this something you can show on the screen? Can we prop this up on the screen and like play through a couple scenarios? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine. I did it actually last night on our podcast.
Okay, cool. All right, then I feel better about that. So, audience, if you guys want to send some prompts of what you want to check out, like, I mean, and what are some thoughts like under the surface, Josh, of like, sure, we could look at price trends, but what are some of the other things that you get? Are you able to look at what you would consider the overall market and quantify that somehow? Because
so one of the things that and it was from your patron, that asked the question when I first posted it, like, why doesn't it have sold items in here? So one of the other things about MorphMarket is once something is sold, it ends up just in a big sold bucket because you can't really filter by date on MorphMarket. So if you search for anything sold, there's like 450,000 animals that they've sold over the period of time that they've been available for, and you can't really filter it down. Unless you start filtering down by gene and stuff, there's not a date way to do that. But I found that what I can do is I can have it go, okay, because I'm grabbing the unique URL for every ad, because you can click an ad and go to the actual page. So I grab the URL, and that's a unique identifier. So I can ask it to go through the latest data and compare it to the oldest, the second most recent data, and show me all the auctions that are missing. So it might be that they sold, it might be that someone didn't renew them.
Right.
But it tells me how many auctions are missing in a 2-week period.
Okay. So they were running, this amount was running then, this amount's running now.
Yep.
What do you infer if there's less auctions in that time frame?
If they're just less total?
Sure.
That the people are buying animals and they're buying more animals than are being posted. Because I can also ask it how many new animals that weren't in the previous data set are now here.
Yes.
So then I can compare two numbers and go like, okay, we've got a net negative or positive number.
Correct.
And I know that the market's growing or shrinking.
And would you see any point, or have you seen any point in considering what percentage of animals for sale are listed as auctions versus the whole market?
I've done it before. I haven't done it recently. But I know at any given time, I want to say there was a couple hundred auctions running at any given time.
But would it be an indicator in my mind if that percentage dipped, that would indicate seller optimism that they can get, that they don't need auctions? Whereas if that number were to be increasing, it would indicate seller pessimism. And now we all know that we could talk ourselves into anything, but over a large enough sample size, usually there's some rational thought that's guiding. Well, we like to, maybe not, maybe I can't say that. In my mind, I hope so. I sort of think so on a larger, it's the old, what's the line from Ozark where Marty, he goes, I can't tell you what one person's going to do, but with enough data, I can tell you what 10,000 people are going to do in a casino.
The wisdom of crowds.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. That same sort of thing. So with a big enough sample size, it would indicate to me pessimism or optimism and that conclusion.
That is also one of the hard things to explain to people is like, I've put 4 sets of data in here. So it's 2 months worth of data. It's cool to play with, but if you're really serious, it's probably not, there's not enough data here to make an informed decision yet.
I see. So okay. So it's got to accumulate a library of data.
And so here's one of the downsides of even custom GPTs and even on a paid membership is I can only feed this 20 files.
At a time or ever? Or what does that mean?
It can only have 20 files in its memory at a given time. So, I mean, it's an easy thing to overcome, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the files, add a date column, and then just put them into one file.
Make it one file. Yeah.
It's not a hard thing to overcome, but it's interesting because every week I'm learning something new about it and a limitation. Like you can only have 8,000 words in the instructions box. And I got to a point where I had so much custom stuff going on that it was like, I couldn't save it anymore.
Yeah.
And so I had to remove some stuff. And then it prompted me. It's all like, hey, you're almost at the limit. Turn the instructions into a text file and reference the text file. And then just upload. I'm like, okay.
Bash Coder earlier, Craig said, let's all get nerdy. What you just described is exactly what Les Paul did when he invented multi-track recording and pinging. Yeah. You consolidate the tracks down. Okay. You take these 4, you're going to mix the way you want into one track. Now you suddenly have 3 new tracks.
Which is funny because that's the way you can figure out if a song is AI or not.
Oh, really?
Like in a normal song, you can isolate a track. You can create a stem from it. Like I can isolate the guitar, I can isolate the bass, but in an AI track, if you try to do it, it's just noise. You can't do it. That's how you identify an AI track versus a non-AI track. Oh,
that's cool. That's funny. I had no idea I'd be tying that together so nicely. Okay, let's take a look at this thing that you've created here and talk us through it. I don't know. Do we need our faces on this? Should we make it?
You can make it bigger. I think I can. What is it? Shift mouse wheel or control mouse wheel? I can make it bigger.
Look at you. There you go. All right. Let's try that here. We'll keep going. Gertz and I are still here in case people are wondering.
So this is the landing page. When you have the link and you come here, this is what you're going to see. Free ball python market data updated every 2 weeks, which means I add the new file every 2 weeks. And if you don't know what to do here, you can just say, help me start. And it's going to, perfect. What do you want to see?
And now and I know everything is a big word, but basically this is just scraped everything in MorphMarket. So we could ask about particular gene combos. We could talk about project pillars, so to speak. So can we ask
it? I did something earlier. This is it. So this is using the same GPT where I asked it to give me the price buckets for each of the data sets of the 4. So using each of the data sets in your file storage, can you give me a pie chart of the number of animals available in each pricing bucket for each data set? So 4 pie charts in total. I would like the total number of animals, the date of the file, and the header. Each slice has the total number of animals at each price point with a percentage of total market, and give me a list of the top 10 genes, which it screwed up.
Okay.
But so on 8.4, this is our price distribution of all the animals on MorphMarket, which was at that time 27,588 in the US.
Okay. And we see the great big bright red, and that is so 31% of the market falls between $250 and $500.
Yep.
And would you agree? That's a weird way to put it. I don't mean to be lawyerly. Am I nuts to conclude in good old fashioned laissez-faire economics? It's no surprise that if that's the biggest market point, that's what's selling the best, or is that foolish to think?
Man. Okay, hold on.
Or are you not able to answer that? You could go, Adam, you're welcome to your opinions. I couldn't. I have no idea.
I actually did a lot of this last night on ours.
Mm-hmm. Breeder Underground.
Yep. So this is a different. So this was from yesterday's or Monday's data that I posted.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same distribution percentage wise.
Yes.
Like I think some of these are a couple point percentages off, but this maintains pretty well.
I'm sorry to clarify. This is what's sold. The other one was what's for sale.
No, this is for sale.
And what was the first one?
That was for sale as well, but that was on August 4th. That was the first data set that I posted.
My apologies. Okay, so
this is from yesterday.
Got it. So that's been static. What would that look like compared to an analysis of what's been sold? Would you suspect they would be similar, or what would we make if they were disjointed?
Yeah, so let's jump down a little bit. So this I was doing in real, like showing people the stuff that you could pull from the data. And I actually asked it to, so this was between 8/18 and 9/1, 5,138 listings disappeared and only 4,286 listings are new, not in the previous data set.
So we've netted, it's almost 20% down. I mean, it's a 900 out of an original 5,000.
The other way I think about it too is within a 2-week period, we're cycling through about 18% of the market on MorphMarket.
Yeah.
So like we're at about 30,000 ball pythons available in North America. In a 2-week period, 5,100 listings are missing, 4,200 were added, but I presume a majority of these 5,100s are probably sales and not just people disappearing. I'm sure there are some, but
yeah, I would think I would agree with you. Yes.
And you know, we're in the season where everybody should be posting their new animals, right? And we're still
net negative.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then I actually broke it down by price bucket. So which ones are missing from each bucket? And it's predominantly like your pet animals.
It's that same bucket again. It's that same 251 to 500.
Yep.
Okay. This is interesting because I, again, in the Patreon, which guys, that's the Proper Royals Patreon. There's a good community there. Somebody made just a complimentary comment the other day. They said, Adam, you're really making moves this year. And I said, well, I see a valuable price point right now to purchase at, and I see a decline in the number of people breeding or selling, most importantly. And so to me, those two scenarios equal, this is when I should make the moves. This is when I should make There's the strongest argument to make investments right now. I'm not advocating that for anybody. Make your own decisions on that. But in housing markets, we see that. In guitar collecting markets, I've seen that in the past 15 years. And so it's a little bit of a supply and demand as well as where the price point is. But this seems to back that up. Like that was just like anecdotal, what I thought I saw in my eyes. Yeah.
So again, new listings, even though we're net negative, though, we're net positive in the lower end.
Versus, okay. All right. So the 152 versus the 1052 versus the 850.
50.
Yeah. Yep. So more. Yeah. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's an argument too, to figure out how to, the trouble is, like you say, you don't know about how long these trends hold, because it takes years for some of our trend planning to come to fruition. So I can't say, but it looks like, say we made the argument that there's not that big of a difference if somebody will spend $450, maybe we can get them to spend $550, but at $550, there's much less competition.
Yes.
And that's an interesting argument. So what could I add that would target that low end of the next higher bracket, and hopefully I drag some customers with me up? It is kind of an interesting thought process for myself.
So interestingly enough, is I've seen people at shows spending more even on pet quality animals for someone that isn't a breeder. I have sold less snakes this year than last year, but I've sold higher price snakes this year and have made more. I had someone at a Show Me show back in June buy a lavender albino visual from me with a couple other genes in it for $550, and it was a pet for his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, okay. Like, and I think people are probably spending a little bit more too. So I don't think I arbitrarily made these buckets as well. Maybe these aren't the best buckets.
Oh, sure. But but at least there's definitions to them. And
yes.
And respectful to your examples given, in my opinion, we all think of the example or the exception to make an argument or make an example. But I love that the big buckets and the data looking at the massive thing, it goes back to that casino example. Yeah, sure. Maybe this one guy just gets lucky sometimes over and over, but 10,000 people aren't. So I like the inspiration of the value of one customer. Absolutely. But I like looking and seeing what a whole bunch of customers are doing too, which is what your tool gives.
One of the other things I can do with it, because I know who the seller is.
I swear to God, I think I just thought of what you were going to say, and it was going to be a really snide comment, and you maybe you have solved this. Go ahead.
No, because I'm curious on who's selling what, right?
Yeah.
So the top 10 sellers on MorphMarket are like 12% of the market. Wilbanks, they have almost 1,000 animals listed, and their top gene is banana.
Okay. And think what you want of Wilbanks, but he's not doing this for fun. He knows something about the market.
Yeah. Everybody else is clown or pastel or het clown, but he is the only one that is not pastel or clown.
Huh.
So then that prompted me to ask it, like, yeah, give me the top 10 genes. That was a little muddy. I didn't like that. So I just did Wilbanks. His second one is Coral Glow.
Well, okay. So yeah, so it's
half of his animals that he has listed, over half, are banana or Coral Glow.
No, but that should tell us something. Like, we get so, like, I know, and I'm sorry, I'm speaking like...
No. Look at it. Trevor and I think, came to the same conclusion. Only Pied and Clown are on here for recessives. Yeah.
Like, blue chips still sell. Like, blue chips, and I know it doesn't make for good, hot take podcast commentary, but I tell people that my own investments, I don't own singular stocks. I own nothing but index funds in the S&P 500. I don't even really dial down into sectors. I basically say, I've got one that's just a total market index. I've got one that says I'm going to retire at a certain age. I've got one that's a little more aggressive that says that it lies and says I'm going to retire at a much later age. And that's it. But it's because they're dependable, and so much time and data has been collected about how consistent those results will be. And that's what we're seeing with this distribution with somebody like Wilbanks.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor and I have talked about it a lot. It's the grandma test at shows.
Yes, there it is.
I can sell bananas, bells, and pies at shows constantly. It's when I'm down to like, the yellow belly double het next to
Right.
the spot nose double het, because most of the people there don't care that it's double het. They just want a pet, and they want something that maybe looks a little unique.
Of course, absolutely. And I always have wrestled with how to like convey this, and I think I just got it. Like, MorphMarket can get it to a massive audience, and you have a better chance. Yeah, and it is a different audience, but you have a good chance of MorphMarket finding your buyer that wants the stranger double het, past this. You don't have physically, as a human, we don't really have time at a show to go explaining how cool that is to every passerby. So you need those grandma test animals for the shows, and you need MorphMarket or some other platform to get the what am I looking for? To go back to bandwidth. You don't have the bandwidth to give a lesson in genetics to every person that walks by. However, MorphMarket has the bandwidth to get it to those buyers that do know what you're talking about, which we could never single out at a show, and there just aren't enough of them at a singular show.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Is I can get more for a banana or a bell at a show,
yes,
than I can on MorphMarket.
I get slaughtered on those.
I can get more for like a brown double het animal than I can at a show.
That's right.
Top 10 most common genes
on MorphMarket here.
So there's 7,000 animals with pastel in it.
So do we secretly like pastel as an industry? What's this telling us?
I don't know. It's probably because it's one of the older genes and it's in everything.
Right. I think that plays. There's more of a snide comment I made than
anything.
But
What
does this mean? What does the data mean? And there's no necessarily correct answer. We all can dream about it or figure it out. But interesting. Go ahead.
Clown, het, clown together is 10,000 animals. That's a third of the market.
Mm-hmm. Yellow belly still so high up there. Incredible.
But these like some of these, I wonder if that is a symptom of just these are the older genes. These are the ones that have been around for a long time.
I think that there's a huge symptom of that. Yellow belly stood out to me, not because it's necessarily problematic, but because of the white snake outcome that's not generally as sought after as, say, a bell white snake outcome. So I would expect to see people turn away from
selling an ivory at a show.
What's that?
Selling an ivory at a show.
Oh, you're going to run into that versus the bells, you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still a unique looking snake that passes the grandma test.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Right. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, so maybe there's people that don't mind that white outcome.
But then I asked it to break down just most common genes with clown.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's similar distribution. You get spot nose in there, which wasn't in the other one, which is, you figure desert ghost has been paired with it a lot. Pied, hypo, red stripe, black pastel, banana. But I guess this is more of an illustration of like, once you get past the initial, like I asked it a question and I help guide you towards that question, you can start asking other questions.
Mm-hmm.
And you can start drilling down and deeper into certain things. Like, I think today I did GHI, just because I'm a GHI person. And asked it like, hey, what are some insights that you have on if I'm big into GHI, how would I get GHI animals into that 2,500 plus range? Because there's only 30 of them.
Okay.
And then, it gave me a takeaway from that.
All right. And hang on, back up. So you were looking at where's the opportunity on a higher end with something that I like, and the opportunity sort of definition came from the market isn't flooded in that little corner of what checks your boxes. So let's explore that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I kept drilling in and asking questions. And then at a point, I'm all like, here's my breeder males and females, because I have a lot of GHI stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it said, hey, like, based on this and what my insights are, these are some pairings you might want to consider. So here's where I drop my breeder males, breeder females. And it asks me before it does it, how many females do you typically pair per male? Because I already told it that it should ask that when you're doing this. And do you want me to prioritize return or the project itself?
Okay.
So I asked it to focus on the project itself, because I'm more concerned about the project, because that's what I like. And, whatever the byproduct is, it's whatever it is.
And what parameters did you have it set for? Like, what does focusing on the project itself mean? Just generating the most, the highest percentage of
GHI animals.
Okay, GHI with other genes, or just GHI?
Yes. So it's going to prioritize trying to get to the 2,500 plus mark with just my GHI animals, rather than trying to figure out what the best return is and saying you should buy this animal on MorphMarket because that'll pair with this. Because you'll see it asks later. It's like, hey, do you want me to find animals on MorphMarket to push this forward quicker?
Okay, so it's giving you a shopping list too.
Yep.
I liked it right up to that point. I'm joking. I like it a lot. I just don't. I'm not going to read the shopping list, is what I'm saying.
And it's interesting because, like, the insights that it got without it knowing about certain combos is like, you'll see, hey, if you want to make high-end GHIs, put it with Mojave, Spot Nose, Red Stripe. It's almost taking you down that Kraken route without knowing about Kraken.
Right.
But it's also saying, hey, because one of the other questions, I'm like, what are genes that are in that high end that you don't see paired with GHI that might be an opportunity? So high end GHI absences, it's like there are no DG GHI animals. There's very few GHI puzzles. Nothing. Monsoon is kind of new on its own, so there's not a lot of stuff there. Yeah. But Zebra, Ultramel still is high end, and shout out to Danny and Renee, because I've seen some of their animals.
Unreal, right? That's Portuguese pythons, guys. Yeah, go check them out for your Ultramel
on here.
That's cool.
Greg and Renee as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But it says, like, hey, if you stick with the hypo, because a lot of my GHI is with hypo and pied right now, you're going to be stuck in the mid tier based on the data that I have. So you need, if you really want an ROI, you need to work it into Clown DG Puzzle, because that's what I have. So it's saying you have this already. That's what you need to work it into.
Wow. So it's pairing. It's the season where I write my pairings for the upcoming year. And I can see now that I'm going to be obsessed with, I'm going to write, I basically have it written. I finished it on the plane ride, marked actually quite a lot. I should have announced that at the beginning. I've marked quite a lot of breeders for sale where I go, I got to look forward, not backwards. These are good for somebody else, but not for me any longer. But now I'm interested to just run my list through this and let it interview me about what I like or don't like or what I'm working towards. And then ask it to compare, have it make my recommended pairings.
So it did that for me. And it's basically like, hey, you have this Firefly Het Clown, pair it to that. Your key outcome that you want, because most of the higher end animals have clown in them, is you want that GHI Enchi Fire Pastel Het Clown. It's also going to be Het Hypo. And it knows it's for the future. It knows it's not something that's going to happen immediately. Other things that it knows is I have it averaging 6 eggs per clutch.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask it very specifically to break down outcomes for a pairing and the actual expected return on investment for it.
Interesting.
I don't think that's working as well as it should yet. So bear that in mind if you go play with that.
Well, and I mean, this should go without saying, but obviously people need to
Trust but
make
verify.
Well, and they need to make their own conclusions. You have to understand. They need to understand this pairing. If we look at the market now, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, or now 1 year in the future, 2 years in the future, I bet it's going to be wildly different. And we all have visions, but only some of those visions will be right. So, whatever the disclaimer is, tread carefully is I guess what
and like this does not take into account depreciation. So like if it's telling you to make an animal for an ROI to hit an animal that's $2,500, but it's telling you you're going to make something that's a holdback for 3 years and then try to hit the odds to make the thing that you wanted to hit in the first place, that animal might be worth $800 at that point.
Yeah, because that's at least 5 years away when you're collecting your money. Yeah.
So anyway, that is what I've been playing with for months now.
Man, your hobbies are way more productive than mine. Holy cow. Nice work, man. This is cool.
So it is free. Anybody can go drop it. Hit me up on Instagram if you want a link. If you run into an issue or you're not sure or have a question, just DM me.
Let me see here. Boom. There we go. We could probably do a whole show on this next topic, but why make it free and share it? Why not just, go total Dr. Evil with this little thing here?
So I think one of the major things is just getting my name out there.
Sure.
Like this data is out there. Like it's kind of one of those weird things. It's similar to the game industry, and like everybody, an idea is a dime a dozen. It's the execution.
That's right.
To be frank with everybody, making the scraper and then making the scraper took like 3 hours with the help of ChatGPT. And that includes debugging, trying it, fixing things, like just everything.
Wow.
It didn't take that long. And then feeding those into ChatGPT, it's just been like me being curious and updating instructions as I go. It doesn't take a lot of effort to do this. I don't think I would charge for it. Like if I had server costs, like, because I could expand this to, hey, I have this running in the cloud. I pay for an Amazon server.
Right.
I have it running filters for every region. That way, somebody from Mexico, somebody from Canada, somebody from Europe could select their region, get their data, and do this. If I had a cost to this, I mean, my time is cost in the morning when I run this for an hour, but like I wanted to do it anyway. So I figured I'd just throw it out there.
So there's a book by an author called Austin Kleon, Kleon, and it's called Share Your Work. And it's written like an 8th grade scrapbook project. It's just this little book with, 2 sentences per page and a bunch of cool pictures. But in that book, he argues whatever little proprietary thing that eventually somebody's going to figure out anyway, the quicker you get that out there, the better your brand recognition, community. And in fact, that author is where I stole the name for the top tier of the Patreon, the Genius. He says the more that people share and attract other people that share, you start to build a genius level scene or a genius. And that's why I teed that question up. That's exactly
go back
what
to the
I
service
think.
industry here real quick, which you'll appreciate. Is when I worked in high volume in Vegas, I worked for Bahama Breeze, which I'm sure you're familiar with, being in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yep.
I was a bartender. We did flare, we blew fire, did all that fun stuff. Vegas was a big hot spot for that in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Absolutely.
I learned the most. We used to have flare days at a park on Wednesdays where all the flare tenders from all the different flare bars in town would go and just practice. I learned more there than anywhere because it would just be an hour, but everybody is feeding off each other and learning new tricks, and people are helping each other. Like, it was the best. Like, that was my opening to, like, collaboration for me is the key to everything.
It's what it's my answer when people say, what sort of expert are you that you should have your own podcast? What sort of genius, or what do you think? Who do you think you are? You could have a Patreon. And I say, it's just a fertile ground for us all to figure this out. And maybe, and the people that get that, or that speaks to, come on in, and the others, that's okay. Maybe there's other ways that just works for me. And I'm with you completely on that. Very cool. Gertz, thank you, man. This has been a cool 2-part series. I'm going to cook up other series that we can work on. I enjoy what you do. I enjoy what you bring to the community. I enjoy hanging out with you. Thanks for all of it. And I am going to dive into that tool of yours, man.
Awesome. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the patron and how active it is.
Thank you.
And yeah, anytime. Next time you come out, maybe I'll bring a bass. Send me some songs we can play.
Let's do it. We'll just add it to the list, or the next time you get to Minnesota, same thing, man. Let's do this. I'll have to, to this day, I'm scared to fly with my guitars, man. Like, I
don't blame you. I've seen some shipping nightmares.
Yeah. I don't know why. I've never had one stolen. I have broken necks on guitars, but I've repaired them. But that's a whole different story. But people do it every day and quite successfully. So maybe I'll just have to. Maybe I'll suck it up and give it a shot.
Group that I'm in, that somebody shipped their Ken Smith, and it got folded in half. Old 1970s Ken Smith 5-string. That, there's not many of those left.
No, it's those horror stories, and I'm certainly not at the point where I can afford to buy a seat for my guitar.
But anyway,
where did I fly? I did fly. Oh, I know. I ran out of space when I moved here to Minnesota, and I was like, well, these guitars they're not trash. So I actually still left some guitars at my father's house in Florida. So every time I go visit him, I fly home with another guitar. Yeah. And if I can stomach, no, I wouldn't lie to my wife, but maybe it wouldn't be a lie if I was just like, oh, another guitar from Florida is coming home with me, when I've, long since brought home the ones that I left there. It'd be a good excuse to.
I have that problem with my Sweetwater card.
Yeah.
0% APR. You don't get interest on it. So New Year Day.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Anyway.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Of course.
Stick around for just a second in the green room. Audience, I appreciate you guys. Get in touch with Josh. Put this to use. Like, you made it this far. Go cash in on this.
I would say even better, put it to use and tell me where it breaks so I can fix it.
That would be the kind thing to do, since you put the time into putting it out there for us. So yeah, we'll make it collaborative, join the Senius, and check it out. So thanks very much. I'll see you guys same place, same time next week, and 2 weeks out on the road in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Cheers, everybody. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.